This lesson is about fraction and decimal problems. Normally, you don't really have to do anything unique to get rid of fraction and decimal problems. However, there's kind of a way to get rid of the fractions and decimals, and that's what we're going to be using that method today. Because this is kind of a mess, right? You could combine these two fractions. Does anybody know how we would combine these two? Luke?
Common denominator?
Yeah, get a common denominator, like multiply by 4, multiply by 4, multiply by 3, multiply by 3, subtract them, and then divide. Okay, that's not the method we're going to be using today, although you could do that. What we're going to be doing is getting rid of the denominators, so it's no longer a fraction. Kind of getting rid of the fraction part. So what you have to do is look at all the denominators. 3, 4, there's no denominator over here. But if there was one, you'd have to look at it. What do 3 and 4 go into? They both multiply into 12. So what we're doing is, let me change colors here. What I'm going to do is multiply every term on both sides by 12. Have we talked about the word term yet? I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. The terms are just, this is a term, this is a term. They're separated by pluses and minuses. Yeah, we've talked about that, I remember. So multiply by 12, 12, 12. Sometimes people forget the right side. You have to multiply it also. Okay, it's legal to multiply both sides by the same value, right? So this is a legal thing. Well, what's going to happen when I have 12x over 3? What's going to happen here? The 12 and the 3 are going to reduce to 4. So I just have 4x right there. Okay, the 12 and the 4 are going to reduce to 3. So I just have 3x right there. What about this side? Okay, there's nothing to reduce, it's just 1 times 12. Alright, see how that looks much simpler? What's 4x minus 3x? 1x. Okay. You don't really need to divide by 1, right? It's just x equals 12. Alright. If I plug that in, does it work? What's 12 divided by 3?
4.
What's 12 divided by 4?
3.
Okay. Does 4 minus 3 equal 1? Yes, it does. Okay, so that is the right answer. Alright. Are you guys good? Floating up. Is it too early to start picking on you? I think not. I think maybe no, I think it's
Would the equation
Avery,
change?
isn't it?
Yes.
Huh?
Would the equation change if there's a plus sign?
Like right here? Then you just put a plus right there.
So the equation wouldn't change.
So on 2, what would you multiply by? What do 3, 8, and 24 all go into? 24. Okay, number 3. Let's go ahead and write down the original problem and the work today. Let me change the color of these. A little easier to see with different colors. Avery, what are we going to multiply by on number 3? You said Avery. But also you said it wrong. So what do 3 and 9 both go into? Yeah, but there's something smaller. You could use 18, it would still work. But what's smaller that 3 and 9 go into? 9, right? 9 times 1 is 9. So you need something they both go into because you're going to divide by that number. So I'm going to multiply every term by 9. Okay, so on this first term, I have 2 times 9 divided by 9. Is that the same thing as 9 divided by 9 times 2? Actually, it is. So you could just reduce at the beginning. What do 9 and 9 reduce to? 1. And what's 1 times 2x? 2x. So the 9's just cancel out on that one. Okay, Avery, how about the second term? What's that going to turn into?
3.
Yes. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 times 1 is still 3, so that's just a 3. And what's the over here going to turn into? 45. Okay. Now see how much easier that looks? Now, I should mention, we could have just subtracted 1/3 and divided by 2/9. That would have worked as well. That would have been kind of hard to do in your head, but you could have done that. You could have subtracted 1/3 just like normal and divided by 2/9. But doing this method makes the equation just look a lot easier. You will get the same answer both ways. As long as you follow correct rules, you should be good. So subtract the 3, divide the 2, and we got 21. All right, number 5. All right. Atticus, any ideas what we should do first?
No.
Okay, the first question I asked was, what do 2 and 7 both go into? And that's 17. What do 2 and 7 both multiply into? Well, if you're not sure, you can always just do 2 times 7. 14. So sometimes there's a smaller number. Like last time, we didn't use 9 times 3. Even though that would have worked. We could have multiplied by 27, but you have to reduce a lot if you do that. If you use the smallest number possible, you don't have to reduce as much. Okay, before I multiply by 14, I'm going to reduce. 14 divided by 2 is what? 7. So that'll just be a 7y. Okay, 14 divided by 7 is 2. So instead of a 2y right here, we have 2y times 2. So what will that be? Minus 4y. And 14 divided by 7 is 2. 25 times 2? 2 quarters is 50. This one's not going to be a pretty answer. Who said that? Yeah.
If we were to multiply 2y by 14 and then divide it by 7, is that fine too? Because
Yeah, let's see what happens. What's 14 times 2?
That's 28.
What's 28 divided by 7?
2, or 4.
Same thing. Okay, it's a little bit easier if you divide first because your numbers won't get as big if you do that.
Okay.
7y, Atticus, 7y minus 4y. So we got 3y equals 50. And what's our last step to solve that? Huh? Divide. Does 50 divide by 3 very well? No. So what are we going to do? Leave it alone. That's what we're going to do. So I don't want to see a big messy decimal in these. Just put 50. 50 divided by 3 is 50/3. B over 3 minus AB over 3. 21. Okay. Brianna, do you know what 3, 7, and 21 will go into? Do you remember what 3 times 7 is? It is 21. So they will all go into 21. 21 goes into itself. 21 times 1. So I'm going to multiply every term by 21. So on the first term it'll be 21 divided by 3 is 7. So we'll have 7b. And then this one we have 21 divided by 7 is 3. So we already got an 8b there. So what's 8b times 3? 24b. And Brianna, do you know what's going to happen on this one? 21 divided by 21. 8 was 1. 8 then divided by itself is 1. 1 times 68. Okay, now what do you think we should do?
7 minus 24.
Yes, we should put those together. That'll be negative 17b. This one is going to work out nicely. And then what's our last step? Divide. Anybody know off the top of their head? Maybe you guys already plugged it in your calculator. Except for this will be negative 4. Yeah, don't forget that negative. You could have done every single step right, and then you forget the negative, and then you lose half credit. So be careful. Number 9. Okay, Sophia, what are we going to do?
Times it by 5.
Multiply by 5. There's only one denominator, so we don't really have to figure out what do they all go into. There's just a 5. So I'm going to multiply every term by 5, so I'm going to get 5y equals 3y plus 60. Now what?
Minus 3y.
Minus 3y. This is from yesterday. Remember when we have y's on both sides? We want to move them all to one side. The left side would be good on this one because there's already y's over there. Yep. So y equals 30. Alright, something changed on 11. What changed on 11? No fractions, there's a decimal though on these. So we're also going to talk about how to get rid of decimals. These are a little bit easier. Okay, by the way, you don't have to get rid of a decimal. You could do we had decimal problems yesterday. We didn't get rid of the decimals. But we are going to talk about how to get rid of the decimals. Makes it easier to do by hand. On the test, though, I'm not going to say you have to get rid of the decimal. You can just get rid of the decimal, or you can just not. I don't know. Maybe you guys have talked about this before. Do you guys know how to get rid of this decimal on the 0.4? What's something we could do?
Put it over 10.
No. Well, yeah, it's 4/10. I'm not going to do that, though. How could I turn 0.4 into just 4? You guys know that? Multiply by 10. Yeah. So what happens when I multiply everything by 10? Not too hard, because basically the decimal just moves over once. So 2b becomes 20b, and 8 becomes 80, and 0.4 becomes, yeah, I just move the decimal, 4b. So you don't necessarily add a 0. If it's a decimal, the decimal place just moves once. But this equation should have the same solution as this equation. Should work out the same. All right, where are we at? Lauren, what should we do at this point?
Plus 20b to 4b.
Well, it won't be a plus 20. Since this is a positive 20, yeah, we're going to have to subtract. This minus goes with this 80, not the 20. So yeah, we're going to have to subtract 20b. So when you bring the 80 down, you have to bring the minus with it. 4 minus 20 is,
16b.
yeah. And the last step? 80 divided by 16 is,
5.
turns out to be 5. Negative divided by negative is positive 5. Now, let's do that. 13, 1.4y. Okay, this problem has a couple terms with 2 decimal places. So how would we get rid of 2 decimal places? Multiply by 100. When you multiply by 100, the only thing that happens is your decimal is moving twice. So what is 1.4 going to become?
140.
Yeah, 1, 2, so it's 1, 4, there's a blank right there, so it's 140. What's 0.09y going to become? 9y. And 1.49? 149. Alright, Manny, what should we do?
We should subtract 140 on
Oops.
both sides.
Yeah.
We get 9.
9y equals 9.
And then we divide 9 by 9 to get y equals 1.
Not too bad once you do the first step.
Is that supposed to be 1.4y?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 140y.
Supposed to be 140y.
Oh, there's a y on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, well that's definitely going to change things. Well, actually,
Still one.
what a coincidence, it doesn't change anything. 140 plus 149 is 149y. Okay, so yeah, when you divide by 149, yeah, we got did something wrong but got lucky, and it didn't really change the answer. So I guess the moral of the story is make sure you copy the problem right. All right, 15. 0.3x plus 0.89. So 0.89 equals 5.221. Okay. Brian, any ideas what we're doing on this one?
We have a turn 5.32192, so we had to do it times 1,000.
Yeah. So basically, we're just gonna move all our decimals 3 places. That's what multiplying by 1,000 does. So this will just become 5,321 instead of 5.321. And what's 0.89 gonna become?
890.
890. And what's 0.3 gonna become? No,
300.
1, 2, 3. So 300x. And now what, Brian?
We would need to, do 5,321 to minus 300.
Minus 890. What's that come out to? I think it's that. 4431.
Yep.
Dude, that doesn't look good.
That's gross.
That's just a weird decimal. Alright, what's our last step?
What do we have to do 1,431 divided by 7?
Yeah. Alright, has anybody plugged that in yet?
42.77.
Alright, whoops. Jumping to 21.
Already out there.
Oh, yeah.
Alright. You guys notice the weird numbers over here?
Oh.
Okay, a minus 3. Alright, what's weird about this page? What's different? Oh, did it? 17, no. Oh, that's, oh, you're joking. A plus 3 over 4 plus a over 8 equals 6. Oh, 21. Alright, well, the weird thing is that there's 2 terms in the numerator on a couple of these. But it's really going to be the same steps, though. There is a slight difference. I did notice number 10 on the other page was like kind of like one of these. So Hank, what do you think? What should we do first?
Multiply by 24.
Well, you could, but there's something smaller. 2, 4, and 8 go into smaller than 16.
12.
8 doesn't go into 12.
So 8.
Yeah, 2 times 4 is
I
8.
was looking at the
So
6.
a lot of times, the biggest denominator will be the largest common denominator. So multiply by 8. Now here's the trick, though. Am I just multiplying this 3 by 8? I'm supposed to multiply all this by 8, so it's more like a distributive. But I would not distribute the 8 yet. Before you distribute the 8, I would reduce. But we need to do that on all of them. 8 on this one, 8 on this one, 8 on this one. So every term has an 8. Okay, you could multiply 8 times both of these and then divide both of them by 2. That's the harder way to do it. I would divide 8 by 2 first. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 8 divided by 8 is 1. So there's just one A there. And then that's just 6 times 8. Alright, so Hank, what's this first term going to become?
4a minus 12.
Alright, now here's the tricky part. This 2 right here is more like a minus 2. We got to subtract all of these. So we really need to distribute the minus out, not just the 2. So what's this middle term going to become, Hank?
Negative 2a minus 6.
Right. Did you guys get that? So a lot of people, maybe even most people, would not put the minus on that 6. So you gotta watch out for that. And then the plus a, there's not really anything going on there. And then we got 6 times 8. Still got kind of a big mess. All right, now what, Hank?
You would add all the A's together.
All the like
Or
terms?
you would do like 4A minus 2, be 2A plus A would be 3A.
We got 3 A's.
And then you do negative 12 minus 6, so it would be negative 18.
All right, starting to look better.
Then you'd add 18.
What is that, 66?
Yeah. Then you divide by 3.
Maybe I should have made one of these a bonus. Let's look at it. I'm not gonna make an odd a bonus.
You should make 22. You should make 20 and 22. I don't know why that's the
Maybe 28. Okay. That was 21. 23, last odd. What is 7 over 6? Equals 7 and over 2. 3 minus 1 over 2. Alright, Bo, you know what the first step's gonna be?
One sec. Do a common denominator, which would be 6.
Yep.
And then you would multiply all those top numbers by 6.
Multiply all these by 6. Okay, on this one, the left term, that'll be the easiest because the sixes just cancel out.
Yeah.
So we got 107.
And then you would divide the 6 by the 2, which would be 3. So that'd be 21.
21m. Okay, and then this 6 divided by 3 is 2. It's another tricky one because there's a minus in front of this. So distribute out a minus 2, and what does that become?
So would it be negative 6m minus 1, or minus 6? Or
So we got negative 2 times negative 1.
so it would be plus 1.
No.
Or 2.
Yeah. Okay, now what?
You would add like terms, or subtract, like
21m minus 6m is 15m. Okay, now we're down to a basic.
now you subtract 2, which is and then you would divide 15.
How many times is 15 going to 105?
7.
Alright, I'll say 28's a bonus if you guys want to try another one of those. 28 bonus. Yeah. Alright. I'll come around and check your 2 here in a minute. Some of you, I imagine,